Keegan Matheson is an associate reporter with MLB.com. Keegan, thank you very much for joining us. Your reaction to this?
It's shocking. It's tragic because we've lost a great man. He'll be talked about as a baseball player, but he's remembered and he's loved because of who he was around the field and off the field and in the community, the work that he did here. That's what set him apart. There are a lot of great baseball players. That doesn't make someone special. What makes Roy Halladay as important as he is to Toronto and Canada is the guy he was. And you've seen a great outpouring of love, and it's not surprising because he's one of the more widely respected athletes that you'll ever come across.
He spent so many years with the Blue Jays. What did he mean to the franchise in terms of the on-field performance?
Well, when Roy Halladay was here, there were years where the Blue Jays weren't the best team in the league, exactly. So every 5 days was a Roy Halladay game, and that was a little, a special moment that fans had every week. And you knew that if you went to the ballpark that day, you're probably going to see a win, and you'll probably see the best pitcher in the league at his best. And he belonged to Toronto in that way, and Toronto belonged to him in that way. He was the special thing that nobody else had in the league. Toronto had Roy Halladay. Even when the rest of the team wasn't as successful as they've been recently or in the early 90s, he was the face of the franchise, I think, in the truest sense of that definition.
How did he wear that? How did he take on that responsibility of meaning so much, not just to the team, but to the city?
In a very unique way. He was incredibly reserved, and you've heard so much about that today, starting with the press conference in the sheriff's office, how humble he was and how quiet he was. You wouldn't know that he was a pro baseball player. He's a big guy, but if he was only 6 feet tall, you'd never know. He was not one to flash around money or have fancy cars, any of this. He was a very normal person to interact with, and I think that helped him handle that success in a very unique way and in a great way. He had the great Doc's box that he brought kids to the baseball game from the Sick Kids Hospital and did a great deal of work in the community. And there was that great, big full-page ad that he took out in the paper here in Toronto when he left town. That relationship ran very deep, I think, and he was the perfect person to take on that much responsibility and those expectations.
What did you think of the words from the police officer today at that news conference? I mean, police give updates in these tragic situations so many times, but this one, it rang differently.
It did. They said it was our friend, and I think that was very poignant. The officer went into detail about the relationship they do have with Roy Halladay, and he's someone involved in his own community, coaches his kids' baseball teams. When you look at his Twitter, he's an inspiration for how to retire. The joy he found in life and in his kids, in the game of baseball, was inspiring. It was amazing. And all of that was genuine, coming from the men in the press conference. Just what he meant to that community on a small level is the same as what he means to this big national community in Canada. Those are very closely related, and it takes a special person to have both of those.
A lot of people in mourning over this. Associate reporter with MLB.com, Keegan Matheson. Keegan, thank you very much.
Thank you.